There is so much wisdom in Indigenous worldview and Indigenous ways of knowing and being and stewarding the land. Indigenous wisdom is the pathway home, I think, for most of the troubles we're facing in this world. Nothing matters more than our connection to ourselves, our connection to each other, and our connection to the land. Iskwew Air is a decade-old idea. The idea was to be able to put my skills to work for our people. I've mindfully chosen to name my airline Iskwew Air, and Iskwew is a Cree word for woman. I have chosen this name as an act of reclamation. Reclamation of womanhood, reclamation of matriarchal leadership, and reclamation of language. Flight is not just about taking off in an airplane. It's also about this incredible opportunity to witness the land.
Is a good way to end up the week.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're flying.
So, what else is on our list here that we need to check out? So, this needs to be flight tested, right?
Yes, Alicia did this.
Yeah, so that's waiting for a flight test. And then we're just doing some cleanup in here.
Yeah, I'm just cleaning this up and
Okay.
working on some of this.
Okay, good. Awesome. Iskwew Air will operate out of YVR, Vancouver International Airport. Vancouver International Airport is on the traditional, sacred, and unceded territories of the Musqueam people. I bought the aircraft on September 12th, and on September 21st, we had a ceremony and a celebration where I asked the Musqueam people for their permission, and they came and they did a cleansing ceremony and a blessing ceremony, and it was absolutely beautiful.
So if you ever want to be a stowaway,
I bought the airplane September 12th. We had the blessing ceremony September 21st. And now it's about getting an operating certificate from the regulator, Transport Canada, and conducting all of the maintenance that's required, to conducting all the training on the airplane. We'll need a CTA license, which allows us to promote and sell air services to the public. Then we'll need to secure some charters and get our props turning, get making some money. And then on March 8th, we will have a official airline launch party for Iskwew Air. In January 5th and 6th, Charlene is going to come and do the painting.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, that's exciting.
Yeah, really super exciting. So we'll need to pick the paints that are...
Have you decided?
No, maybe we can have a really quick look. I kind of am enjoying these gray bits.
I agree. These are my favorite of all of them. Yeah.
As I launch Iskwew Air, I do have fears. I wonder if I can do it. I feel alone sometimes. I have 2 children, Kiana and Keaton, and I have a stepson, Ben. When I decided that I was going to be a pilot, I made lots of sacrifices, and therefore my children made lots of sacrifices. You know, my daughter was 9 years old, and, you know, she said to me, "Is it really practical to be a pilot and a parent?" And I said, "No, honey, this is probably the least practical thing that I've ever done." I've been a pilot for 17 years. My love for aviation was born in Africa. It was the first time I'd ever been in a small plane. And when the airplane started to taxi, I could literally feel my heart come to life. I came home to Canada, and within 1 year, I had a commercial pilot's license in hand. And I made that impossible thing possible. I flew Dash 8 for a regional carrier, and I flew photo survey. So in 2010, I started Kisik Aerial Survey. Kisik is a Cree word for both sky and eye, which for doing aerial survey is a pretty awesome word. So I sold Kisik Aerial Survey, built it from the ground up, and sold it in 2016.
Whoa, a little bug flew out of there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Before that first flight in a small plane in Africa, I had no relationship to aviation. And I suspect that had I had any exposure to aviation earlier in my life, I would have known then. I'm very proud of my cultural heritage as a mixed heritage woman, as a Métis woman. Up until, I guess I was around 30, I didn't have a lot of connection with that part of who I was. My ancestral homelands, my Métis family, was in Fort Chipewyan for many, many generations. What our history is, what was taken from the peoples of this land, there's intergenerational impacts from that. And disconnection from culture. The intent of Indian residential school was to kill the Indian in the child, to disconnect from their culture, from their language. And that was effective. I had to find my own way back to my culture and my language. I don't really fit in my industry, and that's part of why I'm doing something on my own, because I want to build a place where I fit and what I bring is valued, and it is for other people also. Knowing who I am as a Métis woman, as an Indigenous woman, has brought me home. Home to who I am, and home to myself, and home to my courage.
Clear for takeoff, runway 25 for Alpha Kilo. Full power. You're up. Good. Thank you. About 100 kilo. Okay, yeah, 100 below, leveling. Right. Right, close to the space now. Grounding the above victory.
The challenging aspects of the launch are time and money. You know, certainly there have been some delays. I would have liked to have an operating certificate before now. An operating certificate is basically your license to be able to operate, and we don't have that yet. Most days, I feel full of passion and excitement and deep commitment. And some days it's just hard, and some days I'm tired. Some days I feel discouraged. Some days I feel completely worn out.
Tomorrow is March 8th, and Iskwew Air will have its official launch tomorrow. And just filled with lots of emotion and intensity and disappointment. I always say to people, you know the setbacks are coming, and just don't be surprised when they arrive, and just do the best that you can with them. It's hard to feel this, it's hard to be this visible. It feels like a lot of responsibility. And I feel really grateful for everyone that is cheerleading me, and everyone that is supporting me. And it's a big day. Tomorrow is International Women's Day. That's why I chose the day to have the official launch. And you know, I want to do my part to lift up all those who are identifying as women, and give gratitude for all the people that are champions and lifting women up. And I feel tired. I feel really tired. I'm gonna have a nap later on this afternoon. I'm teaching tonight. I know, it's crazy. So I have to conserve a little bit of energy to be able to show up really well for the Raven Speak Mastery students that are gathering together tonight. And because amplifying the Indigenous voice is really important and really matters.
My question, my curiosity, and what I'm really here to talk to all of you about tonight is this concept of belonging and this deep desire that I have, and arguably have always had, to understand what it means to belong. In preparing for finding my story, understanding my story, crafting my story, I struggle to know and understand where my story begins, because I think so much of our stories come from understanding who we are, where we come from, who we come from, and also understanding that those things aren't always simple. I think the concept of belonging and trying to understand who you are, and perhaps maybe the most challenging, is trying to navigate and understand where we belong. That's all I have.
All right, 1 minute of feedback.
I see myself different now, and my children see me different now, I think. Now I feel like a matriarch of my family. Part of what moves me when it feels hard to move is knowing that I have a responsibility. I have a responsibility to Indigenous women and girls to make sure that this works, that it's successful.
We are here today to celebrate the launch of Iskwew Air, a 100% Indigenous and woman-owned air company. Please welcome Teara Fraser.
We need to respect and lift up all of those identifying as women, as a Métis woman, as a leader, as a mother, as a daughter, as a pilot. Iskwew Air is just one way that I can do better. And my hope is that we're just the first of many. Just imagine what is possible. Because it's time. It's time. In the beginning of my career, I really defeminized myself because I so wanted to be successful in this industry. I think it's incredible that I've come from a place of defeminizing myself all the way to naming an airline, Iskwew Air, which is a Kruyt word for woman, and truly reclaiming womanhood in this industry. It's time to rematriate, and it's time to show the world what Indigenous peoples are capable of. One of the ways that I hope Iskwew Air can make a positive impact, even just with our humble start, one small plane, is we are facing a global, national, and local pilot shortage. And I'm worried that Indigenous communities, the service to those communities will be cut. There's Indigenous communities that air service is literally a lifeline for them. I want to do my part.
It's been hard work to get to this point. It's been hard work. I've been working really hard. And yesterday was a day to celebrate. And today is a day to reflect and to rest. Tomorrow is a day to give thanks and to be grateful. And Monday, it's time to get to work.